Hi everyone, welcome to Founders Diary series.
Some of the businesses I'm in today, it's also because of the fact that I lost money before and then just found a way to do it better. Sometimes the right financing can make or marry business.
For you to be an entrepreneur, you need to have that survival instinct. How did you work about getting the right people?
We had a plan of how we wanted to be. For every business we wanted to get into, I actually look for people that have that real experience and then partner with them.
So things I can pick up is one, the group structure, right? The second thing is the issue of those that you employ, the Gen Zs.
What I learned with working with Gen Z is first, if you focus on results than activity, you tend to keep them up. I don't really care if you come at 5, 10, blah, blah, blah. Just give me my work. And I realized that works. You have to learn to differentiate personality from work.
Then as you grow and build, you need people to be more committed.
I can change eBay or Amazon to abayomi.com, but it will still be one of the biggest platforms in the world because they've spent that time to build that system, and all they just needed was a platform that could make it work.
Hi everyone, welcome to Founders Diary series. My name is Kayode Omoshebi. Today on the episode with me is Kayode Omoshebi, CEO, co-founder, Seed and Ash Capital. Welcome, Kayode.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
So, thanks for coming, Kayode. So, just to start, maybe you should just tell me about your background. So,
okay, hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Kayode Omoshebi. I'm the co-founder, CEO of Seed and Ash Capital. We're a proprietary investment company, but focus more on the real sector of the economy and trying to unlock capital and take small companies in untapped sectors to the next level. We do have interests across agricultural, waste recycling, logistics and transportation, hospitality, and then also microfinancial services. Thank you for bringing me on board. Just a little bit about my background. I'm an economist by career, and then also an investment banker. I leverage on that with my entrepreneurial skill. Started building business right from university days all to my career, and then I went full scale into the entrepreneurship sometime in 2020 during the COVID year. That's a bit about me. Is there anything you would?
Yeah, you talked about COVID year. COVID year seems to be very significant for a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
I think that was more like the year when we all realized that there's so much more to life,
yes,
and that there are opportunities. So I think myself too as well, it was 2020, I realized that I could do so much more beyond what I was doing at that point in time. And it just, that realization came, and then I took actions. So I'm looking at this conversation and I'm thinking, how did your journey start? How did that journey start in 2020? Of course, before 2020, you talked about the fact that you've always been building businesses, in school, doing one or two things, right? So how did you start the journey?
Okay, so like I said, I've always been building businesses. Initially, it used to be a side hustle. Got my fingers burnt many times. Lost money. In fact, some of the businesses I'm in today, it's also because of the fact that I lost money before and then just found a way to do it better. And then when I got into the investment world, I started leveraging on my experience with investment banking because sometimes the right financing can make or marry business. So I brought the investment side to it, the entrepreneurial side to it, and then found people that could compensate my weaknesses. And then that's how it was. So it was initially a side hustle. We're building it slowly, and we're learning the ropes. But the thing with Nigeria and the real sector is that there's very little you can do. You sit down on your decks and say you want to own a business and run it. Sometimes there's a lot of human factor, trust issues, and risk along the line. So I started to spend more time where either my weekends or when I'm on leave to actually be on the field to understand what's going on. So some of these businesses go to a level where I had to tell myself that I'm either have to get a partner that will be full time to pay to run it, or I have to take that bold step to move on to the other side where I can now fully focus on it. Obviously, it comes with all consent and monthly salary. Not that anymore. And then basically on the field trying to feed. So what COVID did was it made me realize that, like you said, there's more to life, but it also made me realize that I can actually survive, right, with other skills. Because what happened was, I started to get opportunities to earn money that I didn't need to work 9 to 5. And so I felt like, okay, if I could do this once in a while, then maybe I could just take that bold step to leave the employment and then focus on my business. And then a few times I can then get some money to feed my family or everything. So that's what COVID made me realize. And then it also made me understand sectors that are critical to the economy, and made me realize the opportunities across some businesses. And so that was where I took that post.
You talked about survival because, for you to be an entrepreneur, you need to have that survival instinct, right? And as you build and grow, you need the right people around you, the right partners. You need to collaborate with the right person, right? So building your team, what was it like for you? And, what were like the challenges you faced, and how did you, because I know what you built and I know that it takes a lot to get to that level. So how did you work about getting the right people around you?
Okay, so the way he said it, we had a plan of how we wanted to be. And this was also because of the risk and to allow the businesses to run. So what I did was, for every business I wanted to get into, I actually look for people that have that real experience and then partner with them. So every small businesses we have interest in, there's sort of like a founder who sort of runs the operational bits of it. And then we run from a group structure as an holding company, and then can support them with stuff like corporate finance, treasury, HR, co. So that's how we did it. So they all have somebody that was ready to run and keep the ground running, and then we could support from the strategy standpoint. So that way there was some bit of commitment, right, by these guys. Like I said, we had how we wanted to run, but also we started to feel the team based on need, because it's one thing to just put everybody in and say, okay, you want to hire these people, but then there's cost to it. So like, okay, what do I need today? So in my business today, I'm not even the first employee, right? Then I got somebody that was working while I was still in paid employment. Mm-hmm. And then I also support the person. So after I close from work, I'll then follow up on what they needed to do. And then the person was also supporting these businesses. So at the point in time, I then said, okay, it was time to move. I think that was about February 2021 when I then said, you know what, this is going. So for me, it's more commitment. I look for people that can believe in the dream, because obviously if you want to come work for me and leave some paid employment, we're not paying you massive money.
Yeah, sure.
We're not giving you pensions, HMO and all those things. You just need to believe in the dream that, okay, we're building something and you like what we're building and you want to be a part of it. So that way, but the problem with that is that you would have to reduce your expectations from level of skills, which means that you have to teach people, because to get always highly skilled, what is the thing to cost a lot of money. So what I'm looking for are people with tenacity, resilience, believe in the dream, and are flexible, because there's what you want to do and there's what actually you find yourself doing when you get on the field. So, for example, a lot of businesses, maybe agriculture, for example, we started by saying we want to be in primary production. 2 years down the line now, we are off that side and we're moving to processing. We're not longer like a farming business anymore. So you need people that are flexible to understand the mission, can align with it. I also understand my own weaknesses. So I know for people that can accommodate my weaknesses. I am not as operational as I can be. Yeah. I get bored easily, right? Yeah. So I look for people that can finish it. Yeah. So because if I get someone like me, then obviously a lot of things will be there on the table. I know people that can finish it so that I don't have to worry about execution. So that's how I try to build a team. Obviously, it's not the best, especially in Nigeria where people are not as skilled. People don't have the experience. A lot of graduates are not necessarily qualified.
Correct.
Right. So you will spend a lot of time also teaching. So I would say when I started building the team, I'll spend half of my time teaching these guys. Like, okay, I will do the first part. You guys should learn and all those things. And so because of that, let me say I attracted quite a bit of Gen Z. Right. That's why I wanted to learn. We're not really worried about the money, but wanted some flexibility. And I had to allow people to do other things while working for me, because that alone compensates for the money they cannot get from me, right? So it allowed them to operate, and then I leave them to their own choice at some point. Then find themselves being fully committed. as the city.
But two things I can pick up is one, the group structure, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's one thing that has helped businesses in terms of leveraging your strengths and trying to ensure that you have that ecosystem where you can, get benefits from even other businesses that you create that way, right? It helps us. We also have a group structure, right? That's also helping us. The second thing is the issue of those that you employ, the Gen Zs, is, I don't know, how has it been for you having to navigate with them, because they want flexibility. A lot of them, compared to during our days where we're ready to come to the office as early as 5:30 a.m., sleep in the car park, get upstairs to work. It's different now, right? People want flexibility. People want to be able to do different things. And that has resulted in having people not staying so long in the workplace. So I did a very quick analysis, right? So for those millennials, right, you would see them stay in the workplace in 3 years. But for the Gen Zs, they don't stay like a year. They're bored, they're tired, right? So you're going to do all the work, training them, getting them to the level where you need them to be to run, and then they leave, right? That can be painful. So how has that been for you? What has the experience been, and what have you done to navigate that?
Also, the what I learned with working with Gen Z is, first, if you focus on results than activity, you tend to keep them up, right? So I don't really care if you come at 5, 10, blah, blah, blah. Just give me my work. And I realized that works. 2, you have to learn to differentiate personality from work. And that's one of the things that has affected some of the big companies, right? You might just be a quote unquote, you can be a crackhead, right? As long as you can deliver, I don't need to care about what you do. And so that way I can see independently of what you're doing. 3 is that I don't necessarily look for who I can continue teaching. I also look for who can, that can also add value while I'm teaching them. That's one. Then also is that I try to put structures to them, because yes, as bubbly as they are, and very efficient as they are, and they also can lack structures. And if you need them alone, then things can just go overboard. They get tired. Sometimes they don't just want to work. So what I try to do is to ensure that there's structure, there's KPIs, there's reporting, and it's more focused on the results you're meant to do. And more importantly is I do not keep them bored. Because of what we are building, you cannot be bored, because we don't work based on your work schedule. We work based on projects. So today, the project might just be that you are drafted to the agribusiness to help them reach funds. Tomorrow, the project might be, we're trying to set up a software or a process for them. So there's always something to do that would never keep you bored. So you cannot say that, you wake up today and this is how you work 24/7 with the company. Yes, because you're doing different things. So as long as I don't keep them bored, that alone helps me. Now, will they go, or can I keep them? Some people would go, but that alone is a problem, not just with me, but with every other company.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I've tried myself not to worry about that problem. For me, I feel like they also have value. If sometimes the good thing with the Gen Zs or those crowds is that if they take value from your business and they go somewhere, you also have good ambassadors, right? And sometimes these guys that have left still sort of times do freelance work for me, outsourcing work for me. I have this thing, based on what I've told you, can you do it for me? Oh, I'll do it, and all those things. And that alone keeps me. I have people that have gone and come back. So I've just realized that I need to worry less about things that I cannot control.
Yeah, it's difficult. I remember when I started my journey too, right? I think I started more with freelancers, right? So I had a job to do. I'll just get them, can you do it for me? And then I get the results, they get their money. So that helps. But then as you grow and build, you need people to be more committed.
Yeah.
Right. And now talking about commitment and what you require from people, right? The world is moving. We're moving from, I don't even know, even next year, we don't need lawyers or we need certain professions, right? Now with AI, you know about ChatGPT, right? So it's making the workplace now become easier for business owners, where you could just go there and just say, you know what, can you get me this agreement? Can you create this document for me? And then it all comes out. Just ask questions. So how do you think that would fit into the next? Because that's the next frontier for business now and the workplace, right? So it means that people will not be interested in even going to school any longer because information is available everywhere. So people might just get certifications, right? I was talking to a friend yesterday, right? And I think I was supposed to renew one of my professional qualifications, like the Jews. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Because I'm like, this certificate, what does it do for me, right? I thought about it. At this point, I think I'm following the money, right? So really, what is it going to do for me? And with AI now, things are moving. So how do you think the next frontier would be, in your opinion? And, I want you to look at it first from Cedar and Ash, and then Nigeria globally. How do you think we'll shape towards that? Because that's the next frontier.
Yeah, I get you. It's just a different case when it comes to Nigeria and developing countries. So all these trends that are happening with productivity and digitalization, obviously it will catch up with Nigeria and it will help drive the business. However, what we try to ensure is that you don't have a disconnect, and that's where quite a bit of businesses are having that problem. You are building a very good corporate team, sometimes in Dubai, in London, who are working on tech, data, and all those things. However, you have a market here that is not catching up with that trend. Obviously, maybe some of them are unbanked or skilled. And so you have that mismatch. Fantastic product, fantastic stuff, but that productivity, but these guys cannot relate to the guys on the ground. So what we try to do is to balance it. Is the case that we need to ensure that whatever we are trying to do on the digital side is catching up with what we're doing here. Like I said, we do more real sector. Recycling company, you have quite a bit of unskilled workers.
Yeah.
If you've got work in the skill, and you need to ensure that they are catching up with the trend, or else you just have a fantastic stuff. And that's why for us, we see tech from an enabler standpoint. Is we spend the first and a half year fixing the business. Let's build a business. Let's build a strong business model, a strong value chain. And then second year, third year, let's now look for building tech that will enable these businesses. As against what people do mostly in Nigeria that fail is they build the tech and then they start looking for the business and the tech can enable.
Sure.
And then you just realize that you have a fantastic tech model, but you don't have a working formula for it. Give an example, you cannot take physical from a region. At the end of the day, there has to be that physical exchange.
Yeah,
I can change eBay or Amazon to abayomi.com, but it will still be one of the biggest platforms in the world because behind that technology, there's 1,000 warehouses, logistics platforms, supply chain, people in China. Because between you press here and there, a lot of human things are going on. So they've spent that time to build that system, and all they just needed was a platform that could make it work. So for me, is as long as you can ensure you don't lose sight of your value chain and build a business, it will be always easy to catch up with trend because there's a business that fits into it. And so for us, we just try to find that balance. Most times people jump into catching up with every tech, AI, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's not necessarily working.
Yeah.
I try to ignore the noise behind these things and wait for it to work. Let me see what has done it. Let me see where it has worked. Let me see how they did it. Let me see their feelings before I then take it on board something that's not there. So I'm not as ecstatic about some trends until I'm sure that it really works. For example, you to wake up and say you want to do a agri-tech and you say you want farmers to log into your platform to pay blah, blah, blah. But these guys some of them don't even have bank accounts.
Exactly.
So they have USSD. So have you ensured that what you are building fits into the model? Have you ensured that you can track everything?
Have you ensured you can make money from it?
Exactly. Have you ensured you can track everything end to end? Have you ensured that this thing tailors well? Look at a perfect model. I would always say, I don't know if you've heard of, you know about OP.
Yeah.
And it has moved. It's now sort of like a financial service company. But they understood what they were trying to target. And that's when they started. There was Okada, there was this, there was that, there was that. And then what they tried to do was to create a model that allows those guys to bank and do payments with them. And eventually they moved those guys into a payment model. Yeah. Right. So you can use USSD because those guys that they deal with will need USSD more than the platform. So for me, I know that the future is going that way. But I'm not as aggressive in jumping into those trends till we fine tune it. You understand? So what you need is more bespoke model of what is happening globally. right, for you to work in Nigeria. So it's just latching into this. People will do it sometimes just because they want to raise money. People will do it because, oh, the world says this is what's happening. But for me, I have my own goal. I want to make impact. I want to ensure that I'm solving the real problems. I want to ensure that those that are actors in the field, I still have a dominant play in it. I want to ensure that I control my value chain. So if I know
you want to ensure you make money too.
and making money on my side too, yes. I mean, what sense of all the challenges and strength.
Yeah.
So as long as those things are there, I will always ensure that whatever I'm bringing on or whatever I'm catching up with aligns with that. If it doesn't align with that, then I no problem to wait and then see where it will work.
Talking around making money, right? As you know, a lot of our generation have left the country.
Yeah.
And, for people, they just want a better life.
Yeah.
And it's becoming that trend now, right? And I was thinking, there was this Nigerian tech company that recently moved to the UK.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons they gave was that, they could actually tap into the foreign, in Nigeria. Exactly. So how do you see the impact of this movement, Japa? I don't want us to look at it from the FDI side, which we will understand how it works, right? But from the, in terms of the technical side, right? How do you think it would impact the tech industry in Nigeria? Because a lot of technical people are leaving, right? And then we still need those technical people right here. And that is now taking a company to actually have a branch in the UK because they could tap into that as well. So how do you see that affecting the workspace, the tech space, and the economy? The economy will be when we talk about the FDI side of it. Maybe you can touch a bit on that.
Yeah, so I think it just makes doing business more expensive. For example, with tech today, if you call, let's say, 10 programmers or 10 data guys and ask about their pay, or you keep hearing $.
Yeah. Most of them are even out of the country, so they can do it from there.
Yeah, so because of that, everybody's now benchmarking its pay based on where the person is positioned.
We have that.
So it makes it more expensive today to get a tech person, an expert. So that alone is just high cost of business. For you to build a tech platform, for you to enable your business with tech, you're going to spend more money because you have to pay somebody that has a lot of options here and there. So that's the key thing with diaspora, not just tech, every other business. Skilled people are leaving. Some of those guys can leave and still work for their company, and they'll be asking for more pay, or they'll be trying to benchmark their salary in USD, right? So it makes it more expensive. Unfortunately, you would be paying somebody more for less value. Reason being because companies today are not teaching, are not training, and all those things. So you are going to be the one to train, right? You're going to be the one to spend the money. So you don't necessarily have plug and play. So the impact is skill. We face it every time. Even in my business, as small as we are, we've had people that have gone to Canada, people that have gone to the UK. Some of them, we still have to allow them to work a bit while they were there.
Correct.
Because we couldn't find their replacement. Yeah. Right. So that's where
we have the same challenge. So that's what our product manager currently works for.
So that's what the challenge is. And they would ask you for more, or they will try to benchmark their pay. And then sometimes you also have timing issues because either they have to wake up at midnight to meet your time, or they have to find a way to, or you have to wait for them to wake up because of time zone difference.
Well, Kayode, my own take is also seeing the future of work now. I think it means that you can employ anyone from anywhere in the world and still be able to get things on. It might be more expensive, but in terms of the quality that you get, it's actually top notch, international quality. So it means that we can be here and employ someone from Ukraine, Canada, and still be able to pay them. But how sustainable is that? You talked about the cost, but how do you think? Because I see that as the future of work now. Yeah. Because you would have someone that currently works for you leaving, right? You can't replace the person immediately. And a lot of companies are having issues replacing those top technical, roles, people in those roles, right? So how do you think that would play out? And how do you also think that would also affect the economy? Because eventually people would not be able to do business well when they cannot afford to pay people outside of the country.
Yeah, so that's what the future of work will go. But then it's not entirely the same case, because you still have people that have to be on ground, right? So what will happen is either you're going to teach people, or you're going to bring in people outside that would pay, that you have to pay more for it. And that's why, as a business, if you are trying to be more strategic, there's a need to start looking at training, grounded programs and co, which is what most big companies do these things. And the impact sort of affects the entire job market. If 10, 5, 15 big companies are doing grounded programs and are taking 1,500 people every year, they might not retain them. But what happens is that they sort of help to close that skill gap, right? The problem would be that some industries or some parts of your business, so like you said, tech, programming, all those ones, you can move them outside. But there's the part of your business that still needs to be inside. There's operations, let's say factory workers, let's say people that are actually doing the real work on the ground. And if you don't, there are two ways we do that. You would have to do with a lot of people, right? Because you don't have the real expertise to do or bring people. Look at, for example, a refinery today or a cement factory today, and then check the workforce there, and then you see like 50% Indians, right? They're just because you don't have people that are here to do the work. So you're actually importing, they're bringing in expatriates to do the right work here, which will cost you more money, right? But then the value also compensates. So what affects cost of doing business, what affects cost of products or cost of service in Nigeria is because of all these things. You get, there's a reason why cement price can't come down, obviously, because there are some people that have to pay dollars for. So it has an impact on cost, and that's when we talk about inflation in Nigeria. There are many things towards it, right? So there's also that cost of doing business, which is not just about fuel cost, transport cost, but the pay of the workers that you are bringing to do the work makes it more expensive. Today, UK, some countries are looking for transport workers, truck drivers. Right? So if a truck driver in Nigeria who has some level of experience knows that he can get $1,000 if he leaves the country to go and drive truck in the US. Right. So he will actually for one. There are two things. Either you're going to go and get 3 more drivers that can drive it for cheap rates, or you are going to have to find a way to make these guys more attractive. The advantage is globalization. What will happen, it's good for the country eventually, is that even the unskilled and the skilled will be paid commensurate to what it is globally. Because we have that problem in Nigeria. Take from big companies like KPMG, right? A KPMG guy in UK and a KPMG guy in Nigeria, same level. But you see the gap. Even when you see that, you can tell that this guy is earning someone this massive. No, right? Take an associate in,
and that's why people are leaving.
They're in Stanchart, UK, and Sanya, Nigeria. I'm just giving these companies not to make names. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case. Just an example. And you can see the disparity. But what globalization is doing, and with more Nigerians moving dashboard, is that it sort of measures states of whether people in Nigeria, the same company, can earn the same pay. A transport worker in Nigeria knows that they can earn something similar, right? And so that's what will happen.